Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. We're here today with special guests, Devansh Sood and Guy Hudson, and they're here to share with us the brand Fique and how to protect yourself from the harmful impacts of EMF. So do you think you may be sensitive to electric and magnetic fields? Well, today's guests are going to share with us how to overcome just that. So Devansh Sood is the founder of Fique, a clothing brand that tackles the harmful impacts of EMF as a social cause. Guy Hudson is an electrosensitive individual and physicist, and the founder of Beneficial Environments. So welcome to the show, Devansh Sood and Guy Hudson.
Hello, nice to be on the show.
Hello, Guy here. Yes, lovely to talk about EMFs. It's a topic I've been working on for the last 20 years.
Well, what an honor it is to have the both of you here to talk about this. I've got so many questions, and I'm sure you get this all the time. But why don't we start from the beginning? So what is EMF?
Well, as the resident physicist, maybe I can look at that. So electromagnetic fields or frequencies, but fields I think is slightly better. So that the thing about electricity is that it works at a distance. So you have the typical analogy for electricity going down a wire is a garden hose which water flows down. But the crucial difference is you can feel the flow at a distance of electricity. And that has all kinds of effects, particularly on our biology. And what we're finding is that more and more and more of our biology is actually electrical. And it is because of that, and particularly of the control of the biochemical processes in our body, is regulated by electromagnetic fields. They can have a huge unwanted effect on our bodies.
So are there long-term effects of being bombarded with EMF?
Yes. And so there's something called rapid aging syndrome. So that for people who want to keep young and healthy and good looking, the key to it is to lower your exposure to electromagnetic fields.
Well, that is a key point for many people. I am very curious how the two of you came to work together. I'd love to hear about that.
So we actually were researching people who have EHS or electrohypersensitivity, and we met in a Facebook group. So and Guy's interview is actually on our YouTube channel. Would you like to maybe tell a bit more about your story, Guy?
Okay, yes. So I did physics at university, and I've been working in physics-related fields all my life. And I worked for a telecoms company where on the next building, on the roof of the next building, there were 32 mobile phone masts while they were testing them. Just a stone's throw away. And of course, there's an extraordinary high level of input. Now, being a physicist and engineer, physicists and engineers know or pretend to know that there's no interaction between EMFs and biological systems because engineers and physicists know about EMFs, but they know nothing about biology. And of course, biologists know all about biology, but they know nothing about EMFs. So there's culturally, the science of all this have been kept separate. And it's only now, more recently, that people are beginning to realize there's a huge and strong interaction that affects many, many people's health. So I worked in this office, and one day a migraine came on. I always had migraines occasionally for all my life, but this one came on and would not go away. But I had it for 2 years, night and day, and I was very, very ill with it. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. And I eventually gave in and said, well, look, I've got nothing to lose. I don't care what I believe in anymore. I'll just think electrosensitivity really does exist, and my body has been affected by this. And I knew exactly what to do. And so I turned off what I needed to. I turned off my mobile phone. I turned off a cordless phone. I shielded my bedroom with some special wallpaper, and I got better. It saved my life. And whenever I started using my computer or my mobile phone again, I started getting my migraine again. So I learnt the hard way, but I did save my own life, which was very convenient. And so, of course, in doing the research for that, you get to know the key experts who really do know what they're talking about. And working with them, I was able to develop strategies to make the electromagnetic pollution low enough so that electro-hypersensitive people were not being triggered. So I was able to avoid my migraines by reducing the electromagnetic pollution. But the problem is, it's a bit like germ hygiene, So, and anyone who's brought up a child knows how much work there is with getting the hygiene right. So, toilet training, washing hands before eating, all of those kind of things. There's dozens of little tasks, but there are so many ways in which germ hygiene can infect you. And I've seen in Africa that really, really does save lives if you get that right. So, but the same thing goes for EMFs. And so now, we understand all the different things that have to be done to reduce the pollution in people's everyday lives. And so basically, that's what I do. I go around doing surveys and lectures and whatever else, training people about electromagnetic hygiene. And it really does work. And it makes people's lives a lot better. They're less tired. They're less anxious. And also they've got special allergic symptoms or whatever. Those, like I was with my migraine, they tend to decrease. One of the problems with electrosensitivity is that every cell in our body is affected. And that means you can have digestive problems, you can have eye problems, your hair can fall out, all of these things as symptoms of electro-hypersensitivity, which of course for doctors and medical professions, that is very, very difficult to chase down. But generally speaking, a super way to improve your health is to reduce your electromagnetic pollution load. So that's what we specialize in.
Such remarkable work that you're doing. I've heard of research done where people can hear the electricity. Other folks are highly sensitive to the EMFs that are within their home, that they're having these issues, and they go through trying to figure out like how to overcome this. And it's such a challenge for many people.
Yes, and it's not helped by the fact that it's very specific. Like food allergies, you can be intolerant to a particular kind of gluten, but no others. And so you can react to Bluetooth, but not Wi-Fi, or Wi-Fi and not Bluetooth, or radio signals, or mobile phone signals from a mast, or mobile phone signals from a mobile phone. And so, a very complicated picture.
It really seems to be that. So I understand that you have a company that helps people with protective clothing. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so Fique is the brand name, and it started off as a fashion activist brand. We were just sort of looking into the harmful impacts of technology, and we stumbled across the specific topic of EMF radiation, and the scale of which it's pretty much everywhere. Almost the entire population is impacted with this, especially considering there are now things like satellite-based internet like Starlink. And we decided to start a clothing brand that has silver shielding fabric within the lining. And what that does is sort of protects an individual from EMF radiation by the means of shielding them.
Well, can you share with us some of the products that you have? Because I thought you had such great products, especially the clothing.
So it's designed to be something for, well, we initially started as an athletic wear brand, but we recently introduced things like shoes, caps, and loungewear. We do have devices, and one of the devices, which is called the Dirty Electricity Filter, which is actually made by Guy, filters out EMF within electricity lines.
Well, it sounds like something that everyone needs in their home, especially with the impacts that this has on the human body. So, how can 5G and 6G cellular technology impact our health? Are we getting bombarded with that as well?
Very much so. So the telecoms industry is by far the biggest industry the world has ever known. I mean, everyone in the world almost has got a mobile phone. So this industry is bigger than commercial agriculture. It's bigger than defense. I mean, it's just the telecoms industry completely dominates everything else. But not only that, there's various generations of technology. So roughly every 10 years, there's a complete reset and a complete new level of sophistication of technology. So currently, the 5th generation is being implemented and the 6th generation is being planned. And it affects everything. So it affects satellite communications, cell phone communications, broadband, internet, you name it. Every kind of technology is affected by this next generation. And so that it's extraordinarily new raft of technology coming our way. It's often oversimplified and they'll just pick one example. So it might be the next generation internet coming through fiber, which allows massive increases in speed and then therefore bandwidth and capability of an internet connection. And a lot of people think, oh, well, it's light, isn't it? It's light that goes down fiber, so it's not going to affect anyone like wires or through cell phone communications. Unfortunately, at the end of the fiber, you have to have a converter which turns the light signals into electronic signals. And they are now much faster than the old communications, and a lot of electrosensitive people are affected by these units.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with Devansh Sood and Guy Hudson in regards to the clothing brand Fique and how to protect yourself from the harmful effects of EMF. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you an author, speaker, or expert who is looking for more publicity? Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up for free interview requests from shows looking for guests. Radio Guest List is the #1 free booking resource for radio, podcasts, and TV talk shows who are looking for experts like you right now. Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up today to get the visibility you deserve.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
It's one thing to become attached to your perfect home, but what do you do when that home becomes attached to you? A family in dire need of a fresh start, a mysterious house tied to the past. Buried deep within the foundation of the old Far Hill Manor lies a centuries-old secret. Dark forces or something stronger just waiting to be discovered. Caretaker, a supernatural thriller by breakout authors R.J. Halpert.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. teaching beyond conventional wisdom. Her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guests, Devansh Sood and Guy Hudson, in regards to the clothing brand Fique and how to protect yourself from the harmful effects of EMF. Just remarkable how this is out there and it's affecting us so profoundly. Is it also affecting our environment and the animals as well?
Yes, things like bees, especially migratory birds, they have this natural GPS system, and EMF sort of distort all of that natural GPS system within these birds, and they end up flying into the wrong places and leading to death.
Yes, so I went for a long walk yesterday in the countryside, and it was completely quiet. I couldn't hear any birds. I couldn't hear any insects. So there was an ecological book that came out called Silent Spring in the 1960s. And more recently, another version of that came out called Electronic Silent Spring. We've achieved that now. It's all gone silent. The amount of life forms out there and the amount of ecologies that are still working is massively reduced. And so it's very, very important that people like us develop technologies that are far less harmless.
Are we experiencing EMF radiation from other sources as well?
We are, but also if we take the case of the little plug-in filters we were talking about earlier, the dirty electricity filters. Dirty electricity is unwanted sets of frequencies that are produced by ordinary, everyday, unsophisticated electronics. So if you want a really good sound system, a hi-fi system, you have to pay quite a lot for it, a really good one. And that's, of course, what we need. So ordinary, everyday electronics that's driving our fiber or is driving our computers and everything has a lot of distortion, pollution, and unwanted frequencies in it. What we're discovering is that so much of our biology runs on EMFs. And not only that, the more sophisticated stuff works at particular frequencies. And if you hit a resonant frequency, so any one of these frequencies, and there are thousands and thousands of them produced by just ordinary everyday technology, and most particularly power supplies. So the chargers for your phone, the chargers for your laptop, those get that kind of technology, or inverters for solar panels and motor controllers for things like heat pumps, all generate huge amounts of this dirty electricity. The good thing about it, though, is that it's fairly easily filtered out and absorbed and got rid of. But you need to think carefully about what you're doing. So that's what we also do, is that we do small filters, just plug in for every day. But if you've got any heavy duty stuff like solar panels or heat pumps or that sort of thing, they need more powerful filters because their dirty electricity is so much bigger.
So do you do consultations with people if they need help trying to determine, okay, what, with what their house has, what they need to really filter out this dirty electricity?
Yes. So I've been doing it for many years, mainly in the UK, but some other countries too. And we've developed methodologies for looking at low frequency electric fields, low frequency magnetic fields, dirty electricity, and then all of the EMFs, the electromagnetic fields, in other words, the kind of radio waves or radiation, and how to shield from that. And there's lots of weird and wonderful things. So, for instance, ordinary solar panels, where they're fed into what's called an inverter, so that you can get your money back by pumping it into the grid. They produce huge amounts of FM radio radiation, and can actually stop everybody's FM radios working if they're not filtered properly. And so, these things have major effects.
If someone wants to start with a product, what would you say would be the one for them to purchase right now?
Well, it sort of all depends on what environment they are. We would recommend either getting an EMF survey or buying a EMF meter to find out what their surroundings are like. And the first step can be something like buying EMF protective clothing, and eventually things like DE filters, and finding out what exactly is the EMF pollution like in that area.
I think that you have so many just wonderful products on the website. One of the things I liked was the long coat, and the one I'm checking out right now is a protective cap. And I think I think we all need to walk around with one of those.
Oh, they're really good. I mean, they do work. They do shield. There's one interesting thing though. So after I've been doing this for a number of years, what I've found is they don't work as well as the military test specifications would lead you to believe. So when you buy an EMF fabric, a light as installed in the Fique clothing, you'd expect from the tests for the materials them to sort of reduce the amplitude or the strength of the waves to perhaps 1/1,000,000th of the strength. So basically it's stopped completely. But actually, in practice, it doesn't work like that. And the reason is, most fundamentally, that there are two different kinds of fields. There's the near field and there's the far field. And with the far field, that's how it works. And that's the tests, the military tests work. But in fact, if you get closer to either the transmitter or the receiver than 2 and a bit wavelengths, so for microwaves, so for typically for mobile phone radiation or microwave ovens, you have, if you're less than about 2 foot, you're in the near field. And technology that we've got with just thin materials, they do not shield as well. And there's a very good reason for that. And that is because the difference between the kind of waves that are out there and the near field waves are basically what's called scalar waves. And these scalar waves, we're only just really beginning to understand how they work and to produce technology for reducing them. And that's where the research is going now. And that's what we should be looking at to improve our products over time.
Realistically speaking, everybody can't really be wearing EMF protective clothing all the time. I mean, it is quite expensive when we sort of compare it to conventional clothing. So one of the areas that Fique sort of conducts research and development in is scalar waves.
Well, scalar waves have fantastic potential. So by having a small device that radiates scalar waves, you can actually reduce the pollution or the polluting effect, the biologically interrupting effects of EMFs. So this is almost like a dream come true. That means that we can actually reduce with some simple boxes, some simple small devices, we can actually stop the biological harm or reduce it anyway. So that is why it's so important to be doing research on that.
We actually started a petition sort of to bring awareness. We also have this film called The Silver Lining, and this film was meant to sort of promote this specific social cause to a larger audience and make it easier to understand what this cause is about. Now, the petition that we started, that got taken down within maybe 10 days of starting that petition, saying that that this specific cause, or EHS, electrohypersensitivity, is not something that's real. Now, it's something that's already been identified by the WHO, and it just seems to be that this specific cause, or this very slow poison, seems to be getting silenced by everybody, or bigger corporations.
It would seem that they don't really want us talking about that because it could start bringing a whole lot of other questions in regards to how this is impacting health.
This is the hope of scalar wave technology, is that we can take the damage away from EMF technologies. That is the kind of holy grail that we are looking for.
Scalar waves is a relatively new topic, and there are approximately maybe 100 researchers in history that have actually researched this area. And out of that, about 20 are still alive. Nikola Tesla was one of those individuals who went on to research this area. Now, there is this device called the Energy Enhancement System, and I think it's in various locations around the world. Now, that's one of the examples of being in a scalar field.
Well, it's so exciting to hear about this research, not only with the company, but the film that you have, The Silver Lining. Where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about these great products that are just making such a huge impact and be part of your community?
We have a community section within our website, www.fique.org, and we also have a YouTube channel, Fique Global, where we have a lot of interviews and podcasts with industry experts. Also, Guy is from Beneficial Environments, and we sort of collaborated with each other in an attempt to bring awareness about this issue.
This field is very active at the moment, and there are a number of people working at it. And I am running currently a research project which is looking at all of the scalar wave technologies, with a view to working with Fique to produce products fairly soon, which will really change the landscape so that people will be able to protect themselves far more easily.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. Thank you both so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, thank you, Devansh Sood and Guy Hudson. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about the brand Fique. Make sure to visit their website at Fique, that's FIQUE.co.uk. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Mary Ann is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Mary Ann will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmaryann.com for more information.